Welcome in to Bears Weekly, powered by IGS Energy, a Chicago Bears network production. Bears Weekly is brought to you by Advocate Healthcare, Atletico Physical Therapy, CDW, Connie's Pizza, IGS Energy, and Miller Lite. Here are your hosts, Jeff Joniak, a.k.a. the Mayor of Bearsville, and his sidekick, Tom the Surfmaster Thayer.
Life moves fast in the National Football League. As fans, we dread the days after the Super Bowl, perk up in draft season, free agency comes around, then the draft, then minicamps, then midsummer training camp and games. And before you know it, we're kicking off on Monday Night Football, September 8th at Soldier Field against the Vikings. Camp comes to a close, yet the news keeps pouring in, and we recap it all tonight on Bears Weekly here on ESPN 1000 on the Chicago Bears Radio Network with Super Bowl winning Bears guard Tom Thayer. I'm Jeff Joniak. Coming up with the program, we visit with Bears third-year linebacker Noah Sewell, and we delve into the 2-year contract extension of quarterback Tyson Bagent and preview tomorrow night's preseason finale in Kansas City against Andy Reid's Chiefs. Good evening, Tom. Oh, there's so much to dig into, and we're going to try to do it rapidly tonight. But am I right? Things come at you fast. Look at Tyson Bagent. They come in this week, and they offer him a contract. He says, let me think about it. Yeah, I'll take it.
So you look at it through the eyes of a fan and how quickly things come at you from the conclusion of the season since the beginning of a new season. Now just think about that through the eyes of a player and speed up every aspect of that. Whether you're on the cusp of a new contract, you're in the midst of a contract, you're in a competition battle, every other element that takes place from getting stronger in the offseason or recovering from injuries.
Wow.
Jeff, there's 1,000 different things from fans to players that they think about in the course of a season.
Well, in the case of the young man they call Smitty, Terrell Smith, season goes kerplunk, a knee injury against Buffalo, and in the same breath, you've got Tyson Bagent earning, and I do say earning, his 2-year contract extension. Things just pop up. The running back room now. We got faces on there like Britton Brown out of nowhere. Royce Freeman's coming aboard. He may even be ready to go against Kansas City tomorrow night. We got injuries to Monangai, and Hankins is on IR, and Travis Homer and Roshan Johnson. So, there's unfinished business at left tackle, at linebacker, at cornerback. We haven't seen Jalen Johnson on the field just yet. Kyler Gordon is not ready just quite yet. Thank goodness for 17 days after the game for Ben Johnson and his crew.
We're not talking about a Bob Ross painting that's done in a half hour. We're talking about unfinished business of an NFL season and the completion of a team that's never finished business. Because we may be talking in 3 months from now where there's an injury to a position that you have to go and you have to find some talent at that position. So there's never a finished business motive in the NFL.
All right, let's talk Tyson Bagent. Let's listen to him. Tears welling up, noting where he came from, sacrifices made, hurdles to clear, the financial impact that helps his family, etc. You're talking about a grateful young man. Here is Tyson Bagent on getting his 2-year contract extension.
It means everything. It means the world. A lot of high-level people in and around this building. So for them to think the same of me, it means a lot, and it feels good just because there's been so much work going into it. So that makes it just that much sweeter.
And you came here as an undrafted free agent out of a Division II school. What has allowed you to have the confidence, pretty much from day one, to feel like you belonged here?
I do like to think that I've been confident the whole time, but a lot of it has just been, just trying to, stay as ready as I can and really just fake it until I make it. Has been the whole thing with me, just not leaving my hotel room until I'm comfortable with all the information that we're going to go through on that given day. And I think just that alone allows you to play a little more free than if you're kind of out there unsure of what to do.
Hey, so when you first got here, I think you were the number 4 when you came in the building. How often do you think, I'm sure this week you've been thinking about, how often do you think about just that first year, your summer you were here, and kind of where you're at now? A lot of people didn't even know, really, in Chicago, didn't really know who you were when you got here.
That's just all part of just the process that's taken place since I got here a couple years ago. And I think, to think about that point until now, it's really too much to think about. So it's really just been, each day at a time, trying to be the best that I can be on each given day, and just hoping that, as long as I do that, I'll have no regrets, and, it's served me well. so far. My family, where we come from, it definitely hasn't been the most difficult ever, but, there's been some tough times. So I think that is where my motivation comes from. And, I'll just continue to let that serve me through the rest of my career.
Was that big cheer at the end of practice from your teammates, was that for you?
Yeah, Ben finally let me break it down at the end of the practice. So, it means the world. I mean, it's good to know that the people up top got my back, but I mean, it's even better to know that the dudes that we're out there fighting with, that the love is there with them too. So it means the world. But I am extremely grateful for how the city's taken me in. And it's the same way the other way around. I've definitely grown accustomed to the city of Chicago. It is my second home at this point. I am very comfortable when I walk around anywhere that I go. But yeah, just like any support, it's greatly appreciated, and it doesn't go unnoticed.
When you were younger, whatever hardships you were going through, the memories, could you foresee a day like this, a day like today?
Yeah, I mean, not necessarily like this. I never thought I would make this much money, but I think the real epiphany I had, kind of growing up was that I was like 10 years old, and I was walking around my grandma's house, and I was like, oh man, I might not go to the NFL. It's actually harder than I think. So I think that was an epiphany I had, and now to go from that to just put my head down and work, and to get where I am now. I mean, it's too much to put into words.
If you fast forward to that to just the coaching change with Ben coming in, was there a concern like, oh, well, I already connected over here, but now I got to do it again? Did that keep you up at night at all?
I wouldn't say it kept me up. I mean, there's a lot of things that revolve around football that do keep me up at night, but like I said, it's too much to think about. I can't control that. All I can do is try to show up and convince this staff that I'm, as good as other people say I am as well. So that's basically just been the whole thing. Stay ready so I don't have to get ready, and try to just put my best foot forward and see where the chips fall from there.
From your first start versus the Raiders to where you are now, where do you feel like you've grown off the football field? Where do you feel like you've grown the most?
Off the football field, man. Yeah, I just think that, I went to college about 10 minutes away from where I grew up. So it really kind of still felt like high school. I really didn't have to depart from my family in a sense and, handle things on my own necessarily. In all honesty, it just feels like I've become a man in a sense since I've been here, been out here on my own, family super far away. Really just been able to grow up and do what I love while doing it. So that's been the biggest thing I probably noticed, is just going from boyhood to manhood, I guess.
Tom, I can come up with a zillion superlatives to talk about this young man. He was raised right. He did it not the easy way. Works hard every offseason in unique ways, and one of the hardest working players in this building, period, regardless of position.
The longest tenured player in the 1985 Super Bowl team is Mike Tomczak, a free agent quarterback out of Ohio State. When you think of Tyson Bagent and what he's invested in himself and what he's invested in the Bears, I'm so happy that he got rewarded with the contract today and showed the appreciation and the emotions of the events in front of the media, because Tyson Bagent, he has this perception of this tough guy, in which he is, but when you get the reward or the award of a new contract, it's great to see it on his face.
Here's head coach Ben Johnson.
Really been blown away by his approach from the spring to the start of camp to where we are now. He does a tremendous job knowing what to do, how to do it, and getting it done. So I don't think you can have enough talent in that room. I think we actually have one of the best rooms in the NFL, certainly that I've been around in my career, from top to bottom. I mean, we got 3-4 guys that can play in this league, and so I feel really strongly about where we're at right there.
Surprised about what you've seen from Tyson Bagent?
No, I'm not surprised. I mean, you come in a new situation, and of course, I'd seen a little crossover tape over the last few years of him being out on the field, but the people in the building already had such a high opinion of him that no, I wasn't surprised by anything that he's done so far. He and I are probably wired very similar. Just when he enters a room, he's usually all business, and so to get him to crack a smile sometimes is a challenge, which we like to do. We like to, as coaches, you try to find that right balance of having a little levity at times, but at the same time making sure what we need to get across gets across. And so we try to loosen him up. So because he's so serious about his job, he wants to do so well, and he wants the team to do well that he's always locked in. So I can appreciate that about him because I can relate.
He's equally as happy and proud because he like he said, he feels he's got one of the best quarterback rooms in the NFL.
Ben Johnson's the new head coach of the Chicago Bears. How long has he known Tyson Bagent?
Yeah.
And you just think, Jeff, the impression that Tyson Bagent has made on new head coach Ben Johnson, for him to show the happiness, the appreciation, the commitment to dedication and everything that Tyson Bagent has been able to do so far. And what is that? This is a 3-month, 5-month head coach player relationship. Again, the results of Tyson speak for themselves, and I'm glad that Ben appreciates them.
Coming up next, linebacker Noah Sewell. Keep an eye on him this season. He's next on ESPN 1000 of the Bears Radio Network.
You're tuned into Bears Weekly with Jeff Joniak on the Bears Radio Network. This is Bears Weekly with the voice of the Bears for 24 years, Jeff Joniak. On the Bears Radio Network.
This segment of Bears Weekly is brought to you by IGS Energy. All right, welcome back to Bears Weekly on ESPN 1000 of the Bears Radio Network with Super Bowl winning Bears guard Tom Thayer. I'm Jeff Joniak. Our guest this week is Noah Sewell, third-year linebacker. You look like a different player. You look like a different guy. I mean, really, really impressive stuff going on, man. You feel great this year.
With the whole dietitian plan and with building a plan on the training staff and the strength and conditioning, just you could see the fruits of our labors and just come into reality.
Yeah. How much weight did you lose, or what did you feel you needed to do to get you ready for this particular defense and this particular coach and this particular point in your career?
Yeah, dropped about 10 pounds. Really just being in the right shape because this defense demands a little bit out of you. You got to run with some skilled players. You got to run with some fast players. So I had to shed some weight so I could be able to do that.
No, is this system a better fit for you? Is there anything different about it? Because, when you get rid of Jack Sanborn, immediately you're elevated to that top position, and you've proven everybody right. You've had a great OTA and great preseason. So is this system the right fit for Noah Sewell?
Shoot, I believe so. I mean, yeah, I just like how aggressive the play calls are on certain situations, and overall just very aggressive and physical.
Okay, that 4th down stop in the Miami game, is it something you saw during the cadence, or did you just react when the ball was snapped?
It was really more reaction. Really saw my key blocked, and I saw a gap open up, and I shot my shot.
It was a great play, because that's what you kind of used to seeing from the linebacker position in the history of the Chicago Bears. And so how long does it take you to get acclimated to a new defensive system? Being an ex-offensive player, I know the timetable it is for an offensive player. In terms of terminology, coaching, position coaching, the keys that you need to read during the course of 1st, 2nd, and 3rd down, how long does a system take to be absorbed by you?
I'd say about a month, really. It's really a lot of same as. It's just, like the terminology is just a little different, but it's really the same concept. So as more we kind of got the reps through it and the more I got to see it in action and hear it, it just kind of, came like second nature.
Was anything familiar to you when you were watching Ben Johnson's offense as the head coach of the Chicago Bears because you prepared for the Detroit Lions, or was it a totally different preparation for you?
A little bit of both. I mean, you do see some plays that he's called in the past with the Lions, and we kind of see it here, but I feel like that's just the league in general. I mean, there's a lot of plays that are the same, but just disguised differently.
Noah Sewell, our guest here on ESPN 1000 of the Bears Radio Network. This is Bears Weekly with Jeff and Tom. You had the benefit of you got a brother with the Saints, so he knew Dennis Allen. He filled you in, right?
Yeah.
Filled you in on Dennis Allen, and of course your brother Panay. What a great player he is for the Detroit Lions, filling in on Ben Johnson. That's quite the triangle of information there, right? What did you learn from those conversations?
with my brother Nephi, the
What
first
happened?
thing he ever told me was, you better be ready to run. So the whole offseason, I was like, okay, I got to run. But not really too much information about Ben from Panay. Panay is more of a quiet guy, so I didn't really get any.
Are you guys all on the quiet side? Or are you guys all different
I'd
personalities?
say we're 50-50.
Yeah.
I mean, our spouses and our other parts just say we're all the same, but we don't see it. But
Yeah,
I guess
yeah.
we're all the same.
Yeah, well, hey, listen, to have 3 brothers in the National Football League at the same time, the odds are really small. They're probably significantly smaller coming from American Samoa, where you guys grew up. Would you say this is quite the story? And you could make this into a book. You really could.
No, it's definitely a blessing just us 3 being in the league right now, and just where we are right now is just truly a blessing.
Yeah. I'm certain you guys never take it for granted.
Nope.
No.
So I grew up in the Midwest. I went to Notre Dame, but I've been a kind of fan of the Big Ten my whole life. Are you surprised when you hear Oregon in the Big Ten? Because I still have a hard time thinking, oh my God, you guys way up there in the West Coast, you're coming here to visit Ohio State, Michigan, Illinois, so on and so forth.
No, I don't think it's really a shocker for me. I mean, it's been a long time coming that we can finally go out there and compete with the best schools and the best conference. And
Did that prepare you for the NFL? When you went to Oregon, you were playing against a bit marquee athletes, fast guys, a quality defensive system. When you got ready to come into the NFL, did you feel that maybe you were a step ahead in your preparation because of the caliber of athletes you were playing against in the way that you were being prepared?
yeah, definitely the coaching staff and University of Oregon did a great job of helping me prepare for the next step.
You know
Yeah.
what? That wasn't your first offer, though. Tommy, this gentleman got offered, I believe, in the 7th grade. Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
From Southern Utah, which happens to be Braxton Jones' school.
Yeah.
But did that blow your mind right then? Because you were an unbelievable athlete, unbelievable football player in the state of Utah, but to get an offer in the 7th grade, we've heard this happen.
Yeah.
But did that shock you and your parents or your family, or did you just roll with it at that time?
Yeah, it definitely shocked me. I mean, 7th grade, that's pretty early.
You haven't even matured the body yet, right?
It was just a new thing for me, and then just kind of sat in the passenger seat of my brother's journeys and through their high school and collegiate careers. Just seeing them get noticed, I'm like, okay, when is it my turn? And then 7th grade, SEU offered me, and I was like, okay, let's get the ball rolling.
Oh, my gosh. How do you not then walk into high school as big man on campus? It's probably not your personality, but
No, I leave that to my brothers.
yeah. But you did win a title, 5A. I just asked Josh Blackwell last week because he went 15-0 in his sophomore year of high school, played the whole year apparently with a torn hip. He didn't even know it. And he just remembers specifics like beating Trevor Lawrence in the semifinals. What about that year when you guys won the 5A title at Orem? Anything stick out about that particular journey to the championship that you'll never forget back in high school?
My senior year, it was the very first game of the season. It was against Corner Canyon, and there was a big talk about a quarterback at Corner Canyon, Jackson Dart.
Jackson Dart. How about that? You guys shut him down?
No. I didn't get to play that game. I sat out with an injury, but I was looking forward to that game. But, yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
It was
Well,
a rough one.
he's a New York Giant, and, you might just see him. You never know this year.
Hey, Noah, when you grow up with a brother like Penei Sewell, and then you think about the offensive lineman that you see now and across the line of scrimmage in the NFL, does having a brother like that give you less sticker shock when you come to the NFL and you see some of the big guys because you're around an NFL offensive lineman, or was it, kind of see what you get when you come here and then let the competition begin?
Yeah, I'd say it's a little bit of both. But more towards let's see what you get when you come in. I mean, yeah, it's cool that my brother's, where he's at right now. But it's just my story. I gotta make the most of mine.
Wrestling matches growing up, or were you guys non-confrontational?
A lot of wrestling matches. A lot of broken walls in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What
good
about the
times.
ocean? Were you a fan of the ocean?
Yeah.
Were
We
ya?
were big in the ocean. We would go to my grandmother's house in Utule. It's like a 10-minute walk to the beach, and we would always we didn't have a football at the time with us, so we grabbed a water bottle, put some sand and water in it, and then that was our football. So
All right,
Unbelievable.
what about
Don't forget
surf?
that thought. Go ahead. Tom's a surfer.
What about
so-
surfing?
I don't know how to surf, but I know how
No.
to wake surf. I don't know if that counts.
Okay. Well, I'm going to get you into surfing. You're going to come out to Hawaii with me, and I'm going to change your life.
Because those guys back in the day when he was playing changed yours, that's for sure. I got to just bring this up, and I know it's probably emotional and all that, but, man, you guys grew up with very little, but you felt like you had a lot. From a story that I read, Dan Pompey wrote, I think I went to you in the locker room last year and said I was just blown away by this story. But your family and your mom and dad, they live in a small one-bedroom home, metal roof. You had to secure the roof to avoid, the tropical hurricanes and all that with nets and boulders, and you guys were all in this one-room house. Tell me what that was like, and did you feel like you didn't have anything, or did you feel like you had everything?
No, honestly, I felt like I had everything. I mean, shoot, we were in one big old room. Everybody's in the room. We can sleep in one room. And then after that, the parents would go to work. We would go to school, come back. It would just be us.
Yeah.
I felt like I had everything.
Tightest family you could possibly get. The sacrifices, though, made, I know your parents thought, they saw potential in what you guys were going to be athletically and moved to the United States and probably spent what they had to get you there. Is that how that all went down? And will you forever be grateful for that, given what's happened?
Yeah, my dad had an idea when we were in the islands, like football was probably a way to help us get our education first, and then hopefully other opportunities will follow. But he took a big leap of faith, just moving his family to the States, and bet it all on us.
What do they feel now?
Truly grateful and blessed for everything that has happened and just all the help that we received with our journeys. Definitely blessed.
I had an older brother that inspired me into playing football. Was it an inspiration from an older brother that got you into football, or if you were the ringleader of the group going to football, would you have been that guy?
No, really, it's props to my pops. He was a high school coach in American Samoa, so me and my brothers would go to his practices and would be his little assistants with the little whistles. I'd be like...
And he was football coach?
Yeah, he was his football coach, and I'd be running like running back drills. Everybody else would be running different drills. So I'd just be a little dude with a whistle telling these big old guys to run through the bags, 1 feet in the bag and all that stuff. So I think that's where I picked it up from.
Are there other stories like yours still there?
There's a lot of stories out there. I mean, just people's got to give us a chance. I know we're a little far ways out there, but as long as you give us a chance, we'll give you everything.
Oh, my gosh. And one last thing. His high school championship game, by the way, he was running back also, Tommy. 11 carries, 103 yards, and a touchdown, 13 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 2 pass breakups, and a fumble recovery. I think he got it done. He got it done.
Well, I tell you, man, listen, every member of his family's been an inspiration. Jeff and I have enjoyed watching you guys. But I got to tell you, Noah, I didn't know what to expect out of you coming back this year because I thought you had untapped potential. And from what I've seen out of you this year throughout OTAs, how physically prepared you are, how you have accepted a new defense, a new position coach and everything. Keep it going, man, because the sky's the limit for you, and don't leave anything back.
Yeah, and a play you went to the sidelines. I said, man, he looks fast. He looks fast, and he's physical, and that you got to be because Dennis Allen loves 3 things. I think length, he loves speed, and he loves physicality and violence. So you got all that wrapped in one. Thank you for all your time. Good luck with the rest of the way here in the preseason, and it's going to be a fun ride this year. Noah Sewell, our guest. We'll return with more of Bears Weekly after this on ESPN 1000 of the Bears Radio Network.
You're tuned into Bears Weekly with Jeff Joniak on the Bears Radio Network. Welcome back to Bears Weekly on the Bears Radio Network. Here's your host, the voice of the Bears, Jeff Joniak.
This segment of Bears Weekly is brought to you by Athletico Physical Therapy. Visit athletico.com to request an in-clinic or virtual appointment and start feeling better tomorrow. Have to give thanks to Dan Brody, Jordan Tredup, Katie Fox, and the executive producer of the Bears Radio Network, Eric Ostrowski. Also to Kendra Smith for helping us out here as well. All right, before we move on, notes on Sewell. Made a big jump this year. That impact, along with how Dennis Allen is using his linebackers, the veterans, of course. TJ Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds, Ruben Hippolyte, the speed that he brings to the table, a combination of other factors too, because as I said last week, we got new eyes on the same guys. Guys like Dominique Robinson, guys like Austin Booker, the corner play of Nashawn Wright, Nick McLeod, those two corners right there, 9 years of combined NFL experience. All this is going to make the defense a heck of a lot stronger.
Oh, yeah. You know, Dennis Allen is the guy that's really going to turn this talent into a capitalizing, aggressive playing, fast motion defense. But specifically about a guy like Noah Sewell, he's given a challenge and an opportunity of a lifetime. When Jack Sanborn left via free agency, Noah Sewell was the next man up to the plate in that position. Are you going to be physically ready? Are you going to be mentally ready? Are you going to live up to the expectations of your new defensive coordinator and your new position coach? And since the beginning of OTAs, Noah has proved to everybody that he is willing to do whatever it takes to open those eyes, capture the attention of those coaches.
This is kind of the underdog show, Tom. You got Tyson Bagent from Shepherd working his tail off to get to the NFL, to stay in the NFL and earn a contract extension. We heard what Noah Sewell and his brothers and his family lived, how they lived growing up in American Samoa in the most humbling of environments, yet they loved it. They thrived in it, right? And later we'll hear from Theo Benedet. That's an underdog competing for a starting left tackle job in his second year in the NFL. We'll get to him, but there's so much about the beauty of underdogs and the National Football League. They're all over the place. If you weren't a first-round pick, you're an underdog. You keep a chip on your shoulder. There's so many. We're going to talk TJ Edwards here, too. Another underdog, thriving as a starting linebacker for the Chicago Bears, earning contracts. I mean, Tom, they're all over the place.
There's more underdog stories than there are guys that are perfect picks in the first round. We can think of them throughout our career, but every single guy after that perfect first round pick, they are fighting every single day for their football life. And what's the average career expectancy of an NFL player? I think it's 3.2 years.
Yeah.
And so there's nothing that's given no matter where and when you are drafted. So some of the stories that we hear of growing up in some really difficult times to guys that have been, had a good lifestyle and an NFL upbringing, I admire all of them for the efforts and the commitments they make.
Tom, on our Bears Etc. podcast that dropped earlier today, our camp overall players, we made our decisions. Let's just touch on those. You can listen in depth on the podcast. We encourage you to do that. On defense, the overriding winner for you was TJ Edwards because you can count on that man every day, right?
Right. You count him in a practice. You count on him with a new coaching staff when he's trying to digest new information and his job requirements. And sometimes, his job requirements may change a position, not a position of linebacker or where he sits in the defense. And then when you look at him go through the fundamentals and the specific techniques of the position, he's flawless.
And I went with Jaquan Brisker. Because he's had his best camp. He's stayed healthy. He's flying all over the place, and I think Dennis Allen has a gleam in his eye about how to use him. So that was that. On offense, I went with Joe. I went with the chalk. I went with the big. Hey, if I'm going to say the entire offensive line is the most important, which I did here on ESPN 1000 as my number one most important player was 5 is 1, and Joe Thuney leads that group as the guy who's been through just about every successful journey in the National Football League with New England and Kansas City. I went with Joe Thuney as being a stabilizing force and a guy everybody's turning to lead. And yours was running back DeAndre Swift.
Yeah. Every great recipe, there's a key ingredient that you can't go without. And when you look at what this offense needs to run at the performance level that Ben expects it's the running back position. They get the dirty yards. They pick up blitzes. They catch screen passes. They catch play action passes. And then they're called upon to run the ball a majority of the time, a number of times in a variation of points of attack. So when you look at the running back position and how it filters to every other position on this offense, running back is a key ingredient.
And special teams. I chose Josh Blackwell. He's becoming a leader for this football team. What he does on special teams is significant. He's a core player. He's a significant player for them. And yours was Daniel Hardy, where he
6'2",
blossomed a year ago. He blossomed there a year ago.
6'2", 255. And when you go back and you look at the lineups of every special team across the board in the NFL, there's not a lot of guys that are 250 pounds plus that can work on every single special team that you need them to. Extra point, field goal, block, punt team, punt block, kickoff return. Every single one of those special teams, Richard Hightower could put Daniel Hardy on those teams, and he could perform at the level that's expected of them.
Coming up next, the 6'7", 304-pound Canadian Eagle, Theo Benedet. He's next on ESPN 1000 of the Bears Radio Network.
You're listening to Bears Weekly on the Bears Radio Network. Well, welcome back to Bears Weekly on the Bears Radio Network. Here's your host, the voice of the Bears, Jeff Joniak.
This segment of Bears Weekly is brought to you by IGS Energy. Jeff and Tom with you. Tomorrow night we'll be in Kansas City to take on the Chiefs. Bears and Chiefs, having that for you at 7:25. The whole gang will be there with the pregame show with Mark Silverman, Deion Miller, and Tom Waddle. And then we should have a fun time watching starters play, Tommy. It'll be interesting to see who starts at left tackle. Braxton Jones did against Buffalo on Wednesday's practice at Hallis Hall. I believe Braxton took the majority of the ones.
Yep.
I don't know that Theo took any, so it may just be part of this competition and the analysis there. But Theo Benedet's firmly involved in the competition right now.
Right. So we have experience versus potential. And Braxton Jones obviously has a majority of the experience at the left tackle position since he's been a part of the Chicago Bears. He knows the assignments. He's a super well-spoken kid, very intelligent, and he demands a lot out of himself in terms of his work ethic. And then you look at potential in Benedet. Here's a guy that has athleticism. He's got the physical stature. He does well in bendability, athleticism, and what you need in order to fulfill the job requirements. And that's when you have experience against potential. The competition is never going to be concluded. It's something that's going to go on for quite a while.
Let's brief you. If you don't know Theo Benedet and you just maybe saw him on Hard Knocks last year and the fun part of it and the singing and the dancing and the whole bit, 37 college games, which is great, but his 20 season was canceled due to COVID. They only played 7 games in 2021. In advance of his pro day in 2023, he got sick, he lost weight, was working on a bad ankle, but still his vertical jump would have tied for 5th among offensive linemen at the Combine if he were so invited. A terrific athlete. He was 230 pounds as a freshman. No football until 10th grade. Could have gone to the CFL, probably been a star there. But he played soccer. He played basketball. He threw shot put. He was an outstanding goalie in soccer. Could have played collegiately there. Played both sides of the ball in high school and on field goal. There's a whole lot to this guy, including the fact that he is 6'7". He's got a big reach and is a good athlete. And they asked him up at Hallis Hall this week, did he see this coming? Here's Theo Benedet.
No, I mean, I think I've known since the start of camp that I had a shot at it. Like, I took their word for it when they said that to the group, that job was to be won. And then when we got out to practice, obviously they just kind of go through the groupings, and they told me that I'd be taking snaps both with the 1s and the 2s that day, so it just kind of happened naturally.
Ben Johnson said last week that you might have been a little overlooked at first for that left tackle battle. Did you feel that same way?
Yeah, I think I did, and it's not their fault. It's nobody's fault. There was just no film on me. Like, when I got up there with Roshar for the first time, he said, other than some practice clips, all we have is college tape because I got hurt last year. So it was kind of audition on the run there at the start of OTAs, but I'm glad that they've noticed.
What aspect of the game do you think you've made the most strides maybe since you got here last year?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's a level of comfortability just in terms of NFL defenses and those kind of things that allow you to play faster. But I think Coach Roshar and the whole coaching staff have done a really good job kind of helping me with my footwork in the run game that have allowed me to get into powerful positions. I think pass pro, I'm still working on all these aspects, but posture has improved, landmarks with my hands, that kind of stuff.
With 2 games now in the preseason and actually having some tape for the coaches to look at? Do you feel like you've put on good enough tape to win this job?
I think I've improved for sure. I think the Miami game, there was times when I felt like I was getting my feet under me a little bit for a first game, and I think the Buffalo game was a little bit more solid, cleaner. Definitely a couple plays I want back. So yeah, I mean, I think I've put myself in contention for sure.
You mentioned it that Coach said it was wide open at the start. Was there a little bit of like wiping the slate clean for yourself just coming into this year with the new staff?
100%. I think that's one of the things that kind of excited me. Was a chance to make a new impression. Not that I'd made a bad one, but just to kind of rise up the ranks and get also a fresh perspective on my own game from a different staff that they may see one area that one coach wouldn't or vice versa.
What was some of that fresh perspective that you got?
I think Coach Roshar kind of really understood in the run game, especially that my footwork was probably too long, those kind of things that were really detracting from my power positions when I hit the block, those kind of things. And I think he's kind of understood a tackle, how some things kind of may look a little different for me, just given what I'm good at and what I'm not so good at, and just understanding how to kind of coach through those to get back to the fundamentals that apply to everybody.
Emphasize how much you've taken to coaching and shown growth. Where do you think you've seen the most growth in your own game?
Yeah, I would say definitely in my ability to be dominant in the run game, open up holes. That's obviously kind of a way for O-linemen to flash in practice. If you can open a hole and spring a big run. I think physically I've definitely made some strides since last year. Brent, the whole strength staff, in consultation with the coaches, I'm sure enumerated kind of a good plan for where they wanted my weight, my strength in terms of benchmarks heading into camp, and I think that's helped me too.
If someone had told you at the end of last year that, hey, come towards the end of training camp, you're going to be right there to be the starting left tackle, what would you have thought they were crazy, or would you believe that?
No, it would have made sense to me.
Cut day is a week from today.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that? Do you think about it? Do you just ignore it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it creeps into your mind. We're human. Those things happen. But at the same time, we still have Kansas City first. And so I don't want to get away from that. After the KC game, for sure, you start doing the math, all that stuff. And you try and avoid that as much as possible. But right now, it really is all KC.
What have you learned playing next to Joe?
A ton. Joe is just such a great leader in our room. Obviously, he's seen so much in his career. Technically, there's a ton of stuff he's taught me. He does some really unique stuff with his hands, I think, which doesn't always translate to tackle, but certainly in terms of learning about how he views leverage, it has helped. And then just as a leader, like he does a great job, I think, when guys are down on themselves or maybe had a bad rep, helping them get their chin back up, helping them get back into things. And probably the perspective of playing 10 years helps you do that.
In fact, how would you describe your relationship evolving with guys like Braxton and Ozzie and Karan as this competition grows?
Yeah, I mean, it's been great. I was already really close with both Braxton and then me and Karan obviously coming in together. We've trained together, so that's really my brother. And then, I mean, Ozzie's we joke he's like a 50-year-old man in his 22-year-old body. So he's real mature and approaches everything the right way. So we get along great. We help each other. During the game, like we'd come off the sideline, whoever was in would say, we got this from the rusher. Hey, look out for this when you're in. So it's been all positive.
So, Tom, I love his confidence first and foremost. And if you go in without the confidence, it's going to show eventually. He is embracing this moment with every fiber of his being. And let the chips fall where they may.
Jeff, scouts, coaches, GMs, sometimes you have to think outside the box. Mark Bortz never played a down of offensive line play before he came to the Chicago Bears. He was a defensive tackle at the University of Iowa. He morphed and he grew into a Pro Bowl offensive guard with a great career. Theo Benedet, he doesn't have to have the background of what he inspires to be. All he has to have is the determination, the work ethic, the willingness, and the goal to set his sights high in taking over a position or earning an opportunity that impresses the coaches enough to feel he belongs. And that's exactly what Theo Benedet is proving to himself. Every snap he gets, he is one step closer to convincing himself he belongs.
And using some of those God-given raw materials, right? He's 6'7". He's got Great feet. He's an athlete. It's good stuff, Tom. I know you you appreciate these stories that we're telling today.
I do. Listen, I played alongside Mark Bortz, and I knew he was a defensive tackle from Iowa. He graduated the same year I did. He was a great basketball player in high school, and all this converted into a 6'6", 270-pound Pro Bowl offensive guard. Just imagine what Theo Benedet could prove to himself if he turned himself into a 6'7", 310-pound starting left tackle in the NFL. And listen, he's still being competed against by Braxton. Yep. However, it's not a mistake that they moved him over there, and Dan Rochar is giving him every ounce of coaching he possibly can.
All right, we'll see him tomorrow night against the Kansas City Chiefs. One segment to go. Tom's thoughts coming up. That'll wrap us up tonight on Bears Weekly on ESPN 1000 of the Bears Radio Network.
You're tuned into Bears Weekly with Jeff Joniak on the Bears Radio Network. This is Bears Weekly with the voice of the Bears for 24 years, Jeff Joniak on the Bears Radio Network.
This segment of Bears Weekly is brought to you by Athletico Physical Therapy. Visit athletico.com to request an in-clinic and virtual appointment and start feeling better tomorrow. All right, Tom's Thoughts, one of my favorite segments of the week of all the programs we do. I don't know what's going on in that noggin of yours, Tom. We haven't exhausted all your material just yet, have we? What do you have for us?
Okay, we're going to get an example of the Bears offense for the first time Friday night in Kansas City. They've never been a part of crowd noise. There's no crowd noise at the practices unless it's the music that the Bears are playing. Kansas City, ever since they announced that their starters are going to play, it's going to add extra seats into the stadium. And so now you're going to talk about crowd noise, and you're going to see if that affects the efficiency of the snap count, of all the procedures that they have to go through once they break the huddle. So I think that's some evidence that we need, and that's why I'm glad that that the starters are playing, because we're going to get evidence of that line of scrimmage control by the quarterback's cadence, and the understanding of the rhythm and timing that we saw in Chicago against the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, this team has not gone anywhere yet. So they've had the teams come in here. There have been no road trips. The bonding has been basically team hotel, but this is going to be the team hotel down the road here from Hallis Hall, just the players. But now you're going to get everybody together in the hotel, go on a trip, and then come back, and you got cuts coming, so that's going to change the dynamic and the atmosphere. And then you get real busy on what's up next, and that is getting ready to play Week 1. What other thoughts?
Number 2 is know your running back potential. You brought up the fact that they've had some injuries at that position. They got DeAndre Swift right now as the guaranteed bona fide knowledge king of that position, and everybody else is falling into line. We don't know where Monungai's going to be. We don't know where Roshan's going to be. We see what Britton has been able to do, and now we got to see come Week 1 of the regular season, and they have some time to heal up if they have some nicks. But it's still a position that we talk about, position by committee. There's no other position like running back in terms of the NFL. So we need 2, hopefully 3 candidates come Week 1 against the Minnesota Vikings.
Right. Ben Johnson has proven in his career that the run game's important. And I just feel, he'll adjust whatever he needs to do to put this team in the best position possible in terms of what he has in the game plan. But it would be a lot easier to do with a backfield that he's comfortable with, and that can do a lot of different things. A little bit of a backfield by committee. What else?
Okay, the last thing. Ben Johnson's a first-time head coach, and I've had the opportunity to play for a bunch of Hall of Fame head coaches, and every single one of them have given the same speech. And the speech that's going to come after the cuts, next week when they're done with Kansas City, they all meet at Hallis Hall, all the cuts have been made. I guarantee you this is the speech. Hi, men. I just want to tell you, you're the 53 guys we're going to go with. The competition isn't over. The competition has just begun. So they tell you that you've made the team, but then they reinforce it by a little bit of paranoia in their speech, making sure that you don't just see that, okay, I'm going to coast through the end of the regular season. No, if you come out to practice this upcoming Wednesday or next Wednesday in game week and you start relaxing, you don't study as much, you think you don't have to meet in the weight room or or pay attention to meetings, listen, we'll replace you in a heartbeat. So whether it's Ditka, whether it's Shula, whether it's George Allen, whether it's Frank Kush, by gosh sakes, every one of these head coaches I've had have given the same speech the first day of the regular season just to put everybody on notice.
Well, it is a scary time for a player, right? Like you can't help but have paranoia when in today's world now you've got 69 players on the roster because of the practice squad. If there are better players that have been on your radar as a scouting department, you're going to go and take them from another team or replace guys on your practice squad almost weekly as needed, whatever the case may be. And we don't know, scouts have a pretty good idea of who is going to get cut around the league. There may be surprises to you and I or the fans or the media, but they know from a salary cap perspective, they got their finger out. They know there could be some guys that come in here that had no benefit of a Bears training camp that may make an impact this season.
Okay, last thing that makes you nervous, after they make the cuts, there's 53 men in that room because they don't put together the practice squad yet. When you're sitting together with that 53, that room seems lonely.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they add the rest of that practice squad, then the room starts to fill up. And that ignites a little bit of nervousness. And they said, oh my God, I'm an offensive right guard, and they brought in 3 guards to the practice squad. Are they trying to tell me something? Or, so there's a lot of psychological warfare that goes into the minds of professional athletes, even though they're confident in themselves and they made the team.
To me, football is the only one that's like that. This is insane. Like every day is a new day has dawned. That is for sure. You just don't know what to expect. All right, Tom, great job. That's going to do it for us. Thanks to everyone for listening. Again, the executive producer of the Bears Radio Network is Eric Ostrowski. Thanks to Kendra Smith in the ESPN studios, our Bears producers, Dan Barilli and Jordan Tredup, and Katie Fox. For Tom Thayer and Noah Sewell, I'm Jeff Joniak. This has been Bears Weekly on the radio home of the Chicago Bears, ESPN Chicago. Have a great night, everybody. Adam Abdallah is next.
Thank you for listening to the Chicago Bears Network presentation of Bears Weekly, hosted by the mayor of Bearsville, Jeff Joniak, and Surfmaster Tom Thayer. Podcasts are available on the Chicago Bears official app, brought to you by Verizon and Apple Podcasts. Bears Weekly has been brought to you by Miller Lite.